2008 Dodge Durango. Customer complaint, right front wheel wobbles. Check this out. Well, looking at it and giving it a shake on the ground doesn't seem to do anything, so let's get it inside. Got a manifold leak that you can hear inside the truck. Really loud. Here we go. This is interesting. Listen when I put it in park. Put it in gear. Just when you put it in drive, it engages tractor mode. More time. This upper ball joint's about to leave the chat. So the outer tie rod's loose and both upper and lower ball joints. Still think it's funny I've never heard of Dodge with tractor mode. This customer's going to need an outer tie rod, upper and lower ball joints on the right side, and tires. There's a bunch of busted belts in this tire. Almost always the same answer for a broken bolt. Ain't that right? You're either going to have to drill it or you're going to have to weld a nut to it. I recommend getting your hands on a welder and trying to weld a nut to it. That's the easiest option. Otherwise, you're going to have to drill it and put an extractor in it. A lot of times, that's easier said than done. Ain't that right, Chevy? Good luck, my friend. 02 Chevy Avalanche Z71 4x4. You lost brake pressure and you put a new master cylinder on it and it didn't help. I believe that year had the option for either rear drum or rear disc. If that happens to be a rear drum vehicle, pull the drum and inspect your wheel cylinder. If it's wet, it needs to be replaced. Sometimes you may have to go as far as pulling the little boots back and seeing if it's wet behind there. If it happens to be disc, you might have blew a caliper piston out. I suggest that you check for brake fluid at all the wheels to see if it's leaking. Make sure you bench bled that master cylinder before putting it on. You can get away with bleeding it while it's on the truck, the same way as you would in a vise. Check all those spots and do all those things I listed, you might find your issue. And good luck. Ford Taurus Limited. Customer states, I hear a clunking in the rear. Let's have a look, shall we? Are you making all that clunking? That looks okay over here. Ooh, that one? Not so much. Ouch. I'm gonna say that spring's been broke a while. That'll do it. Chevy, that'll do it. That'll make the clunk. Looks like it's gonna need a set of rear struts.
On today's episode of When Shit Decides to Fuck Up.
Oh man, looks like you're having a bad day. I don't know much about your lift, but it should have some sort of override. Now mine's an Omer lift, and it's got what you call a photo cell override. Instead of hitting your normal down buttons here, it gets off kilter, you gotta hold your photo cell override and then down or up, or whatever way you're going. Mine's got little lasers in here that bounce off of this white reflective tape. I've had it get off kilter, and that happens every once in a while. But having that override allows you to at least come down. Now if you've got Hunter coming in to show you a fix for that, ask them about a override and to show you how to use it in case that ever happens again. 2006 Cadillac STS. Customer states need headlight balls replaced. Obviously. She's rotting away from the inside out. Also needs struts replaced. This is oil from the struts. See? Y'all ever seen a strut leak like that? They also need rear brakes and rotors. Yeah. Guess Cadillac's well insulated where you don't hear none of this going on. It just started today though. It did, didn't it? It just started today. So I need to make me a spare key for my truck. How we make a spare key, Chevy? Yeah. I'm going to do it with the Triton key cutting machine. First I got to stick my existing key in here and get the key code. Kind of like so. Come up here. Hit decode. And this thing will do its magic. Now I take my key blank and stick it in there. Now that I have the key blank in, I'm up here and hit cut. And it runs through its process. And away we go. My freshly cut key and start the truck. Key cutting and programming coming soon. You ask, what tool would I use on a seized-on wheel bearing that heat or oil will not break free? I hate to say it, it can't be tight if it's liquid. Heat will break anything free, you just got to get it hot enough. The little dinky map gas torch isn't breaking it free. It's time to break out the real torch. Also give it a try with this, the hub shocker. Since you've been through some abuse, try the 4100 hub remover tool. Made by Lyle. Well, this is going to be a fun night. The new hire's been having lots of problems this week. First he had a brake line blow on his truck. We fixed that. Golden. Today, as we were leaving, he heard a whine in the vibe. He thought it might have been his transmission. I stuck my head in the window, listened, was like, nope, that's an alternator whine. You're probably going to need an alternator here pretty soon. Met him up at the gas station, literally a quarter mile up the road. I see him leaving, and then I see him turn around and come back and goes, guess what light came on? The battery light. Man, you're having a day, aren't you? Oh, man. Well, at least the alternator's on top. Open up the shop and get you a jump pack so we can get you home until we can get an alternator tomorrow. It's never a dull moment, guys. I'm going to let him borrow the big old Snappy. He's also going to grab some tools to see if he can stop at a parts store and get an alternator and change it in the parking lot. What do you think, Chevy? Y'all have a good night. I got to drive this Jeep for a bearing grinding complaint, and it's raining, so let's turn the wipers on. What the hell? Oh, this ought to be fun to drive. Ah, do you hear that? Didn't have to drive far. Oh God, that sounds terrible. I don't even know if that's a bearing. Let's get her on the lift and see what we see. Well, I believe I may have found it. I believe this may be drive shaft related. It is definitely drive shaft related. Pretty sure this is it. This one's really notchy. Get a drive shaft put in this Grand Cherokee Laredo and we'll be good as gold. Ah, that's terrible.
Here's the wheel lock key, but here's a 10. So is that a tip?
That is not a tip. Anything in that vehicle belongs to the customer. And if you're hunting for that wheel lock key and you come across money, leave the money alone, grab the wheel lock key, continue to do your job. If the customer wanted you to have that tip, I would think they would have a note in it or tell you that, hey, there's a 10 in the glove box for you. Or possibly they got it stuffed in the wheel lock tool. Then again, I would think they would tell you. But I'll reiterate, anything that is in that customer's vehicle belongs to the customer. Facts. Well, I'm gonna go do a jump start for somebody who just called me and asked if I do jump starts. Normally don't. I'm gonna help this guy out. He's right down the road and it's raining. I don't know if he'll want me to record this or not, so I'll see if I can get some footage. Well, let's see if we can find him. Rounding the bend, he's in a Cavalier. I think we found him. Well, we got him up and going. I'm a little wet. Made 20 bucks. Wasn't even gonna charge the guy, but he insisted. Plus I made a new customer. 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Customer complaint. Lost power steering. Check it out, shall we? I've tore this apart. This is what I found on my inspection. The tensioner is not supposed to look like this. It's supposed to look like that. 2 pulleys on it. Now upon installing this, I'm spinning all the other pulleys to make sure that they're free and moving. The only thing I did find was this. C compressor part outside spins just fine, but this is a little stiff, so I'm gonna put the tensioner and the belt on it and see what happens. But it's looking like they may need an AC compressor as well. Oh, let's fire this bad boy up and see what happens. Come on, let's go. Well, seems to be working, but it is lugging the engine down quite a bit. I'll drive it around and see what happens. It is misfiring like a sonbitch though. 2012 Ram 1500 Longhorn edition. It's got a complaint of no crank, no start. We think it may need a starter. So here's the tip. If you think you may need a starter and you want to verify if it is the starter and you're getting power and you're by yourself, well, if your vehicle has remote start, try this. So as you can see here, I'm tapped into my S terminal. Got a wire dot ran here for easy access to show you guys. Test light's hooked to ground. This test light reads out voltage as well. Take and hit your remote start. Right there. We're getting voltage. Turn it off. And I tell you what, if your vehicle's got remote start, this is a lot easier than jumping relays or getting out the old push button. The next time you got to diagnose a starter and it has remote start, give that a shot. It may also come in handy if you're alone and got to tap the starter a little bit too to get home. Customer states, I just had my tire repaired a couple days ago down the road, but yet it's still leaking and we'll lose all the air in an hour. So I just added air to this so I can bring it inside. But you can see the mark still where they marked the valve stem. So let's get this bad boy in here and find out where it's leaking from. Sure is a nice truck. I'm going to take my tech check and spray around the usual areas. Around the bead, around the valve stem. Some common spots to leak. Now we wait. I think we found our leak. That is definitely not the other shop's fault, because I see evidence of where they had this tire off and bead sealed it. They left some bead seal on the rim. Looks like I'll be pulling this off and putting a plug in her. There's no nail, just a puncture. Oldsmobile Alero. Customer drove in from Maine and wants their car inspected to make sure it's safe for the trip back. She's a beaut. That's for sure. Needs a tire too. I need to look into that. See how the tire is. Guess let's dig this out. I guess we're running with 15 on the rear and 16s on the front. Also got one hell of a fuel leak and the transmission fluid's leaking. But they don't want to fix it correctly. They want a patch job. Let's see what it looks like underneath. Well, I can see where they did the original patch job. Well, it looks like it needs a CV boot, or 2 CV boots. Oil makes the best undercoating. Look at that metal. Nice. It's like I was just able to tighten up their patch job, tighten the hose clamps. They don't want to fix it, so that's about all I can do. You can only do what the customer wants. I love the transmission fill hole location on this Alero. Right there, underneath the exhaust crossover, specifically right here. There's a better shot. You can see the black cap right there. Yep, that's a little warm. It's okay. I'm used to it. We're good with our fingers. We got her. That's actually the vent. I'll show you how you actually check the trans fluid in this. It's right here. That's how you check it. Passenger side axle, follow it up, see the plug. Vehicle running, you pull that plug, make sure a little bit of transmission fluid's coming out. If not, add some until it is coming out. And this takes deck 6. Customer had brought in this truck here because they were doing their brakes. Couldn't get one of the slide pins out because they stripped it out. Looks like this. The new one looks like this. At first, all he wanted me to do was get that bolt out so he could put the new caliper and pads on. He's already done the driver's side. So I've got the bolts out, ready to put on the new caliper. Can anybody spot what's wrong? And I remembered, yeah, he did the driver's side, so let me check that one. Yup. So now I gotta call him, find out what he wants me to do. Does he want to fix it and swap calipers around and just pay me for getting that bolt extracted out for him? Or does he want me to actually swap this around and bleed the system? Anybody that don't know, the bleeder screw is always supposed to be at the top. I'm all for people learning to do their own work. If you don't know, ask questions. Broken studs on a 543 valve is always fun. Had to pretty much raise the engine up to get to them. It so happens to be 4 of them are broken off behind the tower. I get in there with the welder and weld up a little bead and then weld a nut to it. I've gotten 2 out, 2 more to go. She's turning out. I use a wrench so that way I can see if the stud's actually turning. Now she's no longer hot, so she'll turn out of there by hand now. They ain't gotta look pretty, just as long as they're coming out. 1 more left. The last one's right here. The other 3 came out of these 3 holes. Good old Ford. Oh, hey, just a minute. You didn't specify where. 2014 Ford F-150 with a 3.5 liter engine. Customer states exhaust leak. Think somebody might have at one point tried to steal the catalytic converters on this because of some evidence of the pipe being welded back to the cat. During the inspection, I can see where the cat was welded back to the pipe, but this one was not. I did find the exhaust leak, broken bolt on the manifold where the turbo is, but also listen to this. The cats are rattling. Passenger side cat's not rattling, but that driver side one is, so that is all broken up inside there. Either somebody tried to take that apart and gut that cat and didn't do a very good job, or something else going on. So much for a straightforward exhaust repair. I was hoping it'd be something simple and cheap for the customer, but nope. You don't have a lot of funds right now to be putting out on a box, but you need a bigger box. Well, you could always go the old Harbor Freight method. Harbor Freight boxes are good. I've got the 5-drawer Harbor Freight roll cart. I've stood in that thing with tools in it, jumped up and down in it, and she's held up. Or you can peruse Facebook Marketplace and see what deals they got on there for you. But y'all are wondering what's underneath that car cover. It's a 50s Willys Jeepster. She's in damn great shape. Other than the rear brake hose is what it's in for. But man, she's beautiful. Anyways, bud, keep your eyes peeled on Marketplace or go to Harbor Freight. Unless you can afford weekly payments on the tool truck. But you're way overpaying. So, we're doing the charging system on this 88 Mustang here. She's beautiful. Got everything tested out, waiting on the new alternator, or remand alternator. Finally showed up. Check this out. It showed up like this. It's cracked. And the cover is missing. Well, there goes this vehicle for the day. 2003 Ford F-150. Customer states, I have no brakes. Please advise. Come on now, Chevy. And upon pulling the wheel, you can notice that rotor is completely scarred up. You come around here and you notice that inboard pad has completely left the chat. Really? So, let's pull the caliper off and see what the pistons look like. Try out the also swivel head ratchets. 90 tooth. They feel really well. Really enjoying these tools from Olsa. Found the remainder of the rear pad. Pistons pretty well shot. What you think? Anybody need a piston? This is what a phenolic piston looks like. And that's what happens when you hyperextend your caliper piston. If you look down in there, you can see the square cut seal. Ooh, glitter. That Ford messed up. Yeah, you're tired of broken Fords, huh? Me too. How are we gonna put all this rust back on this truck? She's good. Pretty soon we're gonna have more of the damn Suburban on the floor than the lift. 2015 Dodge Caravan. Customer states, brake grind. Listen. That doesn't sound like a grind. That sounds more like the backing plate is rubbing against the rotor. So let's pull the wheel and see what we see. Okay, let's have Luke pull the wheel. Luke, your nuts dropped. It's right there. Inboard pad looks good, but that outboard pad, not so much. That piston boot is a little ripped. Play the drums. Still gonna need brakes, but that backing plate needs to be bent back in or held down a little better. Luke taking the initiative and pulling it off. Moment of truth. Well, the backing plate is not loose. It was just rust buildup. We lubed up the pad ears or cleaned up the bracket. Yep. Well, Luke just handed me the keys to his truck. Wants me to take it down the road and see what I see is wrong with it. Come on this adventure with me. I think Luke might be coming with me too. So I'm gonna drive around the block, the loop that I normally do. And he's like, well, if I have enough gas. How the hell do you know if you have enough gas if the gas gauge don't work? Low fuel, ABS, engine light, brake light. What the? Alright, safety third. That ship's like shit. Whoever rebuilt the train didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
Yeah, no.
They're still accelerating and I'm off the gas. I think you need a U-joint. That's one plus, the brakes work. That diamond plate's annoying. You can't even hear yourself thinking this thing. I had this training rebuilt, but it ain't shifting very good. Go around with the gas door wide open. Probably place a little magnet right here and hold it shut. Holy fuck. Luke, you win shit box for the day. 2006 Ford F-150 with a no crank, no start. Let's check it out. I went ahead and removed the little red cap here, so what do we see? Well, that'll do it. Yummy. Corrosion, anyone? Clean up and fix that cable and see if we can get her to start, shall we? Alright, the new end's on the cable. Let's hook her up and see what we get. Let's see if she starts. So I'm replacing this fuel tank in this 95 Chevy. She's gonna need more than a fuel tank. Go figure. Michigan rust, right? Well, this bracket bolts to the frame. It's part of the strap. And she's Swiss cheesed. There's no way in good conscience I can put this back in. Now let's make our way to the top of the tank. Yummy! It's pretty done for. This is what I mean, how one job or one component can turn into multiple things just because of something like this. Rust, corrosion. That's not our fault. That's Mother Nature's fault. So you had a lug get stuck and the stud was spinning. Tech told you the only way to get it off is with a torch. Yeah, you can get it off with a torch. Me personally, I'd like to save the customer's wheel. This is why I invested in something like this. This is the lug nut ripper. It's got an end mill. It's a 19 millimeter. You slip this over the lug nut, take your collar, cinch this down on there with the little set screw, and it's a guide. You put this in your drill, and you drill that lug and stud out. It's a bit pricey of a tool, but yet so is a customer's wheel. Search the internet for a lug nut ripper, and I'm sure you'll find one cheaper than what I picked that one up for. Not to be that guy, but have you checked the bulbs? I would pull the brake light bulb. Make sure you have power and ground back there. If you're missing one or the other, you need to find out why. You need to get your hands on a wiring diagram. If you happen to be missing ground, make yourself a temporary new ground and see if that gets your brake lights back. A lot of times it's easier just to make your own ground and go right to the body. That's what I would do. Pull the pigtail to the brake light, see if you got power and ground. Go from there. Also, are you sure you checked all the fuses? Because some of the fuses could run other things and they're not labeled on the fuse box. The only time I find that out is going through the lookup on the computer. So run through and check every fuse you have in that box. My car had a bit of an overheating issue. I think I remember telling you guys this a while ago. Well, finally got around to solving that. And it took 4 thermostats. Yes, I said 4. We all know it's possible to get bad parts straight out the box. Sometimes it happens multiple times in a row. Just remember, don't doubt your diag. I tell you what, this had me scratching my head like, is the water pump bad? Radiator plug? Do I have a head gasket issue? Nope, just bad parts. Straight out the box. Well, first off, I appreciate you being a fan. Second off, you just had your Tahoe's inner and outer tie rods replaced, had an alignment, and it's still pulling to the left. A few different things come into play when you do an alignment. Me personally, I would have thought that the tech might have drove it after they did the alignment to check the steering wheel and the pole and all that, but some don't. Depending how long your tie rods have been bad, it could possibly be a tire wear issue. So I'm going to suggest you rotate your tires. Now you can either bring the back to the front and the front to the back, or you can take and move the left one to the right side and the right one to the left side, and then see if your pole moves. If the pole changes to the right side or if it straightens out, then you know it's a tire issue. You could take it back to where you got the tire rods replaced and the alignment done and have them look it over again. Tell them you're concerned. This way it gives them a chance to correct the issue if there is one. You guys ever get a tire in that's been kind of ran flat and they come in and say, oh, can you plug it? Show them this if you can. Most people look at that like, oh, that's a good tire, it can be plugged. Except for this one. It's got a slice in the sidewall, so it can't be plugged. Besides that, if it could be plugged, I'm going to break this down and show you something. chunks of rubber. This is mixed with Fix-A-Flat. But there's chunks of rubber in here because this sidewall's been like beaten down. And that is nasty. Makes it even worse because it's got Fix-A-Flat all in it. So even though the tire looks good from the outside, it is most definitely not good on the inside. And I do not recommend plugging or patching that. Because if you do, that sidewall is extremely soft. Customer states, blew a brake line. Wonder if it has something to do with it. He got stuck in the mud. Like, really stuck. Huh. Yeah. This left front bundle of lines is a little wet. Can you guys spot the leak? They're a little crusty. This thing's gonna have to sit for a few days. I am booked. I cannot get to it today. Even if I could get to it today, I'm not looking forward to working on it when it's packed full of mud. 2003 Ford F-150. Customer states, I have no brakes. Please advise. Come on now, Chevy. And upon pulling the wheel, you can notice that rotor is completely scarred up. You come around here and you notice that inboard pad has completely left the chat. Really? So, let's pull the caliper off and see what the pistons look like. Try out the old swivel head ratchets. 90 tooth. They feel really well. Really enjoying these tools from Olsa. Found the remainder of the rear pad. Pistons pretty well shot. What you think? Anybody need a piston? This is what a phenolic piston looks like. And that's what happens when you hyperextend your caliper piston. If you look down in there, you can see the square cut seal. Ooh, glitter. That Ford messed up. Yeah, you're tired of broken Fords, huh? Me too. What's up, guys? Just want to come on here and show you a few things that kind of got towed into me. Check this thing out, guys. Rustier than heck. What do you want? You get to have fun with shackles. Come on, Chevy. Good girl. We got the old Ford. Anybody take a guess what's wrong with this one? It's also leaky. Ram behind me. It's got oil pressure issues and the tow truck driver told me it was knocking. I'll probably grab the keys and take a listen for myself. Come on. Good girl. See if we can have a listen to the old Ram. Nope, she did. So everybody wanting an update on this? We are waiting on parts for the carburetor. Also got a 2017 Jetta outside that will start but will not accelerate. Came all the way from Ontario, which is this gem right here. Also got a Ford Escape that needs a transmission. Cranking out the work, but I'm still like 2 weeks booked. Everybody's been asking about Chevy, so here she is. How you doing, baby? Hey, how you doing? Yeah. You say hi to. Come on. Come here. Who is that? Yes. You're such a good girl. Come on. I gotta take her out to go potty, so I figured I'd let her say hi. I gotta go make a roadside service call. Mother-in-law's vehicle, her key fob died, and she can't get into her car or start it, so I'm gonna show her how to do it. Now I'm here, and she never got her key cut to get in the door, so I had to put the battery in and actually get in the door. But I'm going to show you where to put the key if your battery is dead. As you can see, key was never cut. There's no confusion here. I separated the two halves, so watch. Right over here, stick the key in this slot right here. Come over here. Look at that. And now we'll shut it off. I'll come over here, grab the key, and now watch right here. No key detected. That's how you start your 2013 Lincoln if your key fob battery's dead. Oh, we're checking out Luke's truck he just brought in. Push on the bed and the door don't move. Other than that, she's not bad for now. Is it terrible, Luke?
Oh, it's bad.
I spy a broken shackle. Holy hell, is that a brake leak or a wheel seal? Your rear end rusted through. That's great.
I need a new rear end.
Is that cracked? Just clean it up and weld it. Don't put a new rear end in it. Whee! Needs a rear main seal too. Fuck it! Who needs cats?
But hey.
What the? Oops. Oh gosh, that's gravy. Look at that patch. Yeah. It's made for you, dude. It says flammable. Caution, fuel. Slapping cheeks. The fuck? I'm outside doing my quick checks on this Fiat 500 that got towed in. It's a crank no start. And this is the code she's got in it. I did clear them, and the only codes that came back were the fuel injector codes. There was one in there for the oil pressure sensor signal. Went inside, looked at my wiring diagrams, see if I could find where fuses and all that stuff are. Come back outside, rip the beauty cover off the engine, and look what I see. Fiat multi-air. Look at this. Without cleaning this up right away. We got a mouse infestation. This one's gonna be fun. These damn mice trying to find somewhere warm to sleep. I've got her opened up in the parking lot, and this is what I see so far. I have a feeling this one may turn into a shit show. Well, got her wired up enough to limp her into the shop so I can repair this harness. What's around my neck? Well, it's not around my neck anymore, it's on my head, and it's the Night Buddy light. Also, you guys love my shirt. Shop Shenanigans, the new guy, thought he was going to pull one over on me and bought me a shirt. I said, I'll wear pink. Well, he went and got me a pink woman's shirt. I put it on. I'm winning this. I'm winning this one anyway, because I just sent him on a parts run he's never going to find. I sent him out to find the ID10T bolt. Yeah. Read that part number back for me.
ID10T.
Okay.